collection ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence. And it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Shawn.
Hi.
How are you? I'm terrific.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. You got your booster?
Yes, I'm recovering from that. Had a rough couple of days, but on the other side of it now. So, yeah, get your boosters out there, I guess, if you're so inclined. You know, we definitely urge it. Since I got Pfizer.
You got Pfizer, yeah.
Since I got Pfizer, it basically was just another dose.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be for everybody.
But that's why I figured it was be something like different. Like it's like here's a special kind of gimmick, you know.
It's the same shit.
Okay, well,
yeah.
This time around, it kind of affected me. So like even the night of.
You actually did the last time you were a little tired.
Not as much as I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as this was. I mean, this wasn't even that bad. Like it was just like maybe one night I was really chilly.
You were tired and achy.
Yeah, tired and achy, and then the rest couple of days, like I'm kind of tired and achy, just trying to get over it and stuff like that. But it wasn't like. And look, it's different for everybody.
I think, yeah.
But a lot of people, sometimes they make it out to be like oh my God.
Some people do have it. But I mean, you were tired and achy the first dose you got.
Yeah.
I did not have that didn't happen to me. My arm, I felt like I took a fucking baseball bat to the arm.
Yeah, the arms are sore, yeah.
After I got especially after my second one. But I'm getting my booster on Sunday.
Yeah. So
we'll I got Moderna. I don't know why.
I think they just randomly gave it to you.
Yeah, it was just that's where I ended up going, and
even though we went to the same place.
Well, we did. We went to the same health system, but my location was different. So I got Moderna.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, you went to a different location. Yeah.
Yes. So I got Moderna, and you got Pfizer. But I had to find a place that was actually giving Moderna because they just approved it. Like the FDA just approved the boosters for Moderna, so I had to find a place that was giving it because I didn't want to mix them yet.
No, they don't want to. Yeah,
so I got to go Sunday to get mine.
That's neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, good. Stay safe out there and take care of yourselves. I would appreciate that. Mm-hmm. For all you folks out there.
Hope y'all had a good Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween was fun for us.
I missed it. I miss it already.
Oh no, you didn't miss it.
I miss it now.
Oh yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good for We had the decorations, and we actually got this year to sit outside.
We did. We sat by the fire pit.
We went to the fire pit, and we sat out there, and we waited for people to come, and we barely got people to come.
Yeah, we literally had like 15
trick-or-treaters. Which wasn't entirely uncommon for folks. Like I was talking with a few other folks from work today, and they were saying that was kind of like the same for them. But then other people had like a ton of people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
so,
we got like 15 kids. We sat outside. We drank hot booze.
Yeah, hot booze.
You know.
I had myself a hot toddy.
Yep.
I think I made it right this time.
Good.
I think because actually you're supposed to. It's basically to make the bare minimum of a hot toddy. It's hot water and bourbon.
Yeah, some lemon juice.
But I don't think I've ever put the lemon juice in there. Mm-hmm. And I think you're also supposed to put like simple syrup, and I don't like simple syrup. Or I try not to use it. Yeah. So I put something else that was in there. It wasn't simple syrup. It was something. I'm blanking on what it was. It was something in the freezer though, in the fridge. Mm. But I mixed it all together, and it was pretty good. You know,
nice,
pretty nice hot goodness.
Yeah.
And what'd you do? You did a cider, I think, right?
Yeah, I just did apple cider, and I put some apple Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tight.
Yeah, it was good.
So. Well, I did manage to watch my horror movies.
Uh-huh.
You know, and watch some Friday the 13th to kind of get myself there. What did I watch what did I watch on Halloween?
We watched Motel Hell?
Motel Hell, that's right. Yeah. That was okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people are very complimentary of that movie because it's like a dark satire kind of movie. I don't know. I wasn't really blown away by it, but it had its charm.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. Yeah, that and then we also went on Saturday. We played trivia.
Yeah, we did. Yes. We went to a little brewery here where they were doing horror trivia.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all horror movies. We had some other Halloween related questions.
Which I figured.
And we actually came in second.
Yeah, we would have been first if there wasn't another trivia team playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say those people were ringers.
Yeah, those are definitely ringers.
We would have won. We lost by 4 points, and those people were fucking ringers. So I'm gonna say we did really, really well.
That's pretty hardcore considering we got as close as we were.
Yeah, we only lost by 4.
And we would have been.
It was like we would have blown everybody else out of the water. It would have been quite the victory.
It would have been. We would have had. We would have had more points too if I didn't whiff on a few questions.
Yeah, I mean we whiffed on a couple, but yeah, we could have won like a night stay in some haunted hotel.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
No, hey, you know what? I'm proud of. I'm proud of
what we did. We won a Dracula figurine.
Those reaction action figures. They have a horror movie villains, and they had a Dracula.
Yeah,
and then we got a $10 bar tab.
Yeah, because they were just like they even said at the beginning, like the people running the thing were like, "Oh, hey, it's so and so." I don't remember the people's name.
Fright or Wrong. That's the other.
Yeah, Fright or Wrong. This one
was called. I forgot what they were called.
Ghouls Night Out.
Ghouls Night Out. And then there's there's another. Apparently, there's 2 horror-based trivia trivia outfits here in Denver.
And they were like, "Hey, it's Fright or Wrong. They run horror trivia at Slashers, which is the horror themed
which
bar,
I want to go to,
which we've been to the bar, but we've never been to the trivia. And they also help put together the Telluride Horror Film Festival.
So I think they know their shit.
So they know their shit, and then there's just us. Which Shawn, I will say, playing trivia against Shawn sucks. Playing trivia on a team with Shawn is great. Because if you play against Shawn, especially if you're playing something like Trivial Pursuit, you won't have a turn for like 25 minutes because you just get everything right. Yeah. Because you just have a head for all those random facts. And me, who doesn't remember anything, is kind of pointless. But I did actually get questions right.
Oh, no, you were very helpful.
Yeah, I was, especially in the first round, because the first round was like, and I'm still kicking myself because one of the questions was like, when was the first Halloween? It was like it was true or false.
1978.
No. True or false, the first Halloween occurred in 1840. And I was like, and I did not ask a clarifying question, and I should have, because I was like, Halloween as we know it now, or like Halloween in general? Because if it's Halloween in general, it's been around for fucking ever. So that would be false. If it's Halloween as we know it today, that would be true. And I didn't ask a clarifying question and went with false, and it was true. And that was my fault. I should have asked. But they also had questions like, the first jack-o'-lanterns were carved out of watermelon, which is false. They were turnips, and I know that.
See, now I know that.
Yeah, and I knew that before.
Now I'll be ready next time that question gets asked.
Right, but I knew it already. Yeah. So we got that right. Because I was like, no, it's a turnip. Yeah. And then the only thing I kind of kicked myself on the first round is I mixed up Scotland and Ireland. So one question was Scotland and the other was Ireland, and I fucked them up. So we got those wrong. Yeah, but
we could have won.
We totally could have won if I didn't fuck up those questions.
Well, I fucked up some questions. Because there's this one question that was this picture of this clown from a movie called Terrifier. And I watch What Culture, which is like these British. I mean, you may be familiar with them or not, but they're like this British media company that like it's just a bunch of these hot young people putting out videos. Yeah. But they do like listicles and stuff, and they do a lot of cool stuff, and they're pretty educated and they're pretty entertaining. Yeah. I like them a lot. And I watch the Horror Channel all the time, and so they talk a lot about the same movies. Yeah. And that kind of come up in these lists they talk about. And this movie Terrifier is something that I am I see often, and they brought up the picture of the clown that's in this movie, and I was like, oh, I know that. Yeah. But I put Terrorizer instead of Terrifier. And it was funny because the host was like, he read it as Terrorizer at first, and he's like, oh no, I'm wrong. And I go, because Terrorizer count? He's like, no.
No.
I was like, damn it, because that's what I had, you know.
I know.
But no, I whiffed on that, and
there was also one that we were never going to get, and it was
about what the estimate of the pets?
how much do people spend on their pets at Halloween? We were never going to get that. Didn't matter how many times we tried.
Yeah, we could have been close.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it was a good time though. I definitely want to try that again because I feel like I want to. I kind of really want to win.
Yeah, I want
to win.
Yeah, I'm just really proud we got that far.
Yeah.
Because I just never. I mean, I didn't know what to expect going in. I thought it was going to be a bunch of questions about horror movies, which I figure you were probably really good at. And I didn't know what to expect. And there were some teams that didn't know anything, but that was okay.
Oh yeah,
it was just there to be fun, and drink beers. The beer was okay.
Beer was fine.
Wasn't one of my favorite breweries we've been to.
Definitely, this is definitely better breweries. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't bad. It was nice of them to give us a tab.
It was like a German theme.
Big Stein.
They had huge steins up on the walls and stuff. And
Big Stein.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had a really good time. And again, I think considering who we were playing against, we played against the Ringers and we almost beat them.
Man, that wasn't really satisfying.
Lost by 4 points.
Just some jabroni couple just sitting there be like, hi.
And that's exactly what we were. Because honestly, I don't think that they expect, because that woman came up to us afterward to be like, oh, wow, we thought you guys did really good. We're like, thanks. Because I don't think they expected anybody to get that close.
No.
They're
probably like, you know what? You're going to go on this trip. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. Exactly. They're like, come on, buddy. It's fine. It's going to be a total blowout. It's going to just be like, you're going to take home all the prizes. You'll get first, second, and third. And we were just like.
And here I come, be like, Mr. I've hung out with Mick Garris, I call it Mick Garris. I'm like, hey, can you answer this question for me?
Hey, can we phone a friend?
Can I phone Mick Garris? Literally, I'll text him right now.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I just, I was really proud of us for doing what we did.
Yeah.
So.
No, it was badass. So trying to think of some other stuff. Movies. We just watched a trailer. Speaking of, I guess it's a horror movie, but it's like an action movie. Mm-hmm. Haction. Is it horror action?
Sure.
Thriller. That's what it would be called.
Thriller.
Is that what a horror and action would be? The thriller.
Uh-huh.
No, whatever. It's it's a superhero movie. Morbius.
Uh-huh.
And this is like, I feel like they said it's the second trailer, but I feel like it's the third trailer.
Oh, maybe. Sure. Was there a teaser trailer?
Well, no, maybe we were talking about that first trailer that we saw at the beginning of way beginning of COVID, and then they obviously delayed it. Was that the teaser trailer? Whatever it was that the first one was out.
Sure.
That they've been showing, and they just kind of released a newer one where I'm trying to figure out what actually happens to him when he goes to he goes to Africa to research some blood cure, for his disease that he has. Yeah. Does he go to Africa or does he go to some vaguely South America or Central America, whatever? Yeah. Vague country. Southeast Asia. I mean, does he go to a made up country? He goes to Wakanda. He could. We don't know. Black Panther's like, I actually don't know if you could. I mean, you could. It's the Marvel Universe, but it's also Sony. No, he ain't going to Wakanda. But there's other made up countries in the Marvel Universe. Oh, yeah. So he could have gone to one of them. We don't know. That's true. Yeah, he might. But he goes. Krakoa. Yeah, he goes and he gets Morbius. Well, he's like, this is like a bunch of bats just come out and fuck him to death or something. And then. Yes, I believe they do actually fuck him to death. You are correct. He's like, oh no, these bats are fucking me to death. Now I'm a superhero. Now I'm a vampire. So. Speaking of vampires. Oh. I just want to put this out there. I watched Midnight Mass. Okay. Which is obviously about a vampire. But it's one of those fucking things. I don't know. I'll be honest. Anytime I hear Midnight Mass, I just keep thinking it's just a mass. It literally is a mass that happens at midnight. It's a very Catholic show. It is very Catholic. There's a priest. There's fucking communion. Is this a real? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm dead serious. And then finally, they have a mass at midnight. They have Midnight Mass on Easter. Does it count as mass if you watch it? I don't know because I watch Midnight Mass because there's a lot of death. But anyway, I'm gonna start counting it. It's totally. I think if you watch Midnight Mass, if you watch all 8 episodes, you're good for the next 8 years. You don't have to do anything. Nice.
But I watched it. It is obviously about a vampire, but it's one of those really annoying movies. You know how they have zombies and they don't actually say the word zombie?
Yeah, because I can't.
This
for some
is
reason, or
this
they don't
is
want
a
to.
vampire in which they do not say the word vampire. And I'm like, is anybody going to say vampire? Is anybody going to point out that this is a fucking vampire? Nobody says it. Really bothered me.
It's kind of like
Anyway, Morbius.
Well, it's kind of like, speaking of Morbius and speaking of the vampire, it's kind of like I watched this video. This guy on YouTube that opens up, that talks about toys, and he often talks about, like, he's really big on the Spider-Man the animated series from the 90s, and he references, Morbius, because Morbius was a character in there, and they wouldn't let him, like, bite people.
Yeah.
He had to do, like, some sort of suction thing on his hands in order to, like...
Finger suck.
Yeah, he had to absorb that way. But, yeah, that's kind of what you're dealing with there. But Morbius looks, I mean, I don't even know who the villain is, if there is a villain.
I think Morbius might be the villain.
It's a very, I guess.
Because I'm getting the feeling, based just on that trailer, that Morbius killed everybody on that boat.
Maybe they're bad guys.
Oh, I'm sure that they'll write it so they're bad guys, but he still killed everybody on that boat.
Is this rated R? Do we know?
Oh, I'm sure it's probably just PG-13.
Oh, well.
So it's not going to be as cool as we're hoping.
Yeah. No, I'm a Morbius mark, but yeah, we'll see how this turns out. I mean, it's just another movie for Jared Leto to yo-yo his weight,
Yeah, Jared Leto to show that he's like a serious actor.
Yeah.
He really is Calculon. To me, he is Calculon. He's just standing there being like, acting talent. Like he is Calculon to the nth degree.
He's something else.
He really, really is. And he's just going to be like, I don't know. Cause then there's the end where he's like trying to tell that like joke in the trailer.
Oh, apparently, yeah, this is the new trailer. He tells a joke where he's like,
I'm Venom.
Yeah, because somebody's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Venom. Bah.
And he's like, I'm kidding.
No, wait, I'm Morbius.
But like, I don't know. There's just something about the delivery of that line with his voice that just doesn't pack any sort of punch.
Yeah.
Funny. I mean, it could just be the sound mixing on the trailer. He's like, no, man, it's me, Michael Morbius.
Yeah.
That's your service, man. And I'm just like, you just sound like every surfer bro ever. Like, I don't know if I could take you seriously.
Except he's surfing on blood.
Waves of blood.
Can somebody draw me Morbius surfing on blood?
Actually, if he was surfing on blood, that would be amazing.
Can you imagine that's just in the trailer? It's like that. It'd be like watching that Triple X trailer from the new version. And it's just that
where he's like riding
motorcycling in a wave.
Yes.
And it does. If he was just at the end of it, just like, I think Morbius is a living vampire, and it's just him surfing on some blood.
Oh man, it'd be so good. You know what it is? It's like those beach blanket bimbo movies or whatever the fuck they were back in the 60s, where like there were some horror versions of those, and I'm sure there was surfing on blood in those.
Well, it was in black and white, so you couldn't tell.
I know, but they could have told you it's blood. Because
to see his blood.
Dragula, which I've been watching, as we know, I think their second episode.
Is that still on technically?
Yeah, it's on for a couple more episodes.
I was surprised that they didn't end it by Halloween.
I really thought they would have. That would have made total sense, but they didn't. And I'm just like, okay. But they started. The second episode was I can't remember what it was called. Oh, Nosferatu Beach Party.
Okay,
is what it was called. So the whole idea was they were supposed to be vampires at the beach, in like homage to those old movies from the 60s.
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah?
Kind of, yeah. And so it was just like, and they had like a song they had to do, and it was kind of fun. I will say a little confusing, as most Dragula tends to be, because sometimes you're like, why was that the choice you made? Also, this camera works odd. But yeah. So. Yeah,
well, whatever. Morbius.
Go
ahead.
They did just do the one I just watched. They dropped Tuesday. Was like a Wild West one, but it was in reference to those old weird, those Weird Tales comics where some of them would be set in the Wild West, but they were also sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like that old comic book from like the 50s. So that's what they ended up doing this time around.
Okay.
And some of they always call it the floor show. So it's basically the look that the drag artist, and I don't want to call them queens because not all of them identify as drag queens. They identify as like drag artists. Like some of them, like some of the looks they brought were fucking nuts. They were so good, like out of a comic book good.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah.
That kind of reminds me, there's not a lot of Wild West horror. I mean, there is, but it exists.
There should be more of it.
There's
right?
there's a movie that I actually, I don't know why where I read it. I must have read it in the back of a TV guide called Ghost Town from 1988.
Okay.
And it's basically about like a zombie, like, bad guy zombie Wild West gang and current day stuff.
Yeah.
Which fortunately I don't know if it's available anywhere, but I would like to see it again.
You would think like there would be more Wild West horror.
There probably is, and it's probably stuff that I'm forgetting.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't.
I mean, there has to
go ahead and tell us. But
what a perfect premise! Like you roll, like kind of like Dawn of the Dead, almost, where they roll into a brothel, right, and it's full of vampires.
Yeah.
But like you could roll into a town, and
Dusk Before Dawn.
Dusk Before Dawn. You're right. And you roll into a town in the Wild West somewhere, and it's just full of fucking monsters. And you got to make it out alive by sunrise.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm down with that.
That'd be a fun movie.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
So Morbius. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was I rewatched Dune.
Yes.
1984's Dune by David Lynch. And it's the official David Lynch version because that's what it said. Because sometimes it's Alan Smithy because you took his name off of it.
Right.
But this one had his name on it.
Uh-huh.
You got to watch some of it.
Uh-huh.
You fell asleep.
Uh-huh. That sounds right.
As is expected when watching Dune.
It's really long.
It's needlessly long. I've never read the book, but I've seen the movie. I like the movie.
Uh-huh.
What did you think from what you saw?
From what I saw, it was very long, and there was an awful lot of world building, like setup before we got to the Dune planet. I was like,
it's a big book.
But again, I mean, I'm also used to the pacing of movies today, where it's just like, we have to know what's going. At least you're going to get like a cut of the Dune planet first, and then you'll get some backstory, and then you're going to be on the Dune planet. Like this is just like, and here's this fish monster thing that lives in a, I don't know, giant coffin-y
Oh, you're
thingy.
talking about the navigator?
Yeah.
The vagina mouth navigator that lives in a container full of spice.
Yeah, and it really was a vagina mouth, but also what I was really confused by is there's just like dudes mopping the floor.
Yeah, they had moppers or the guys who were doing like the sweeping for the curling. Like there was dudes playing, there was curlers in the back.
And when they like push it away, the floor is still wet. I was like, what's happening in this movie?
It's like if I were the
I was like, when do we get into the Dune?
Emperor? I'd be like, my floor is moist.
I fell asleep before we got to the Dune. So,
I mean, you basically, Kyle MacLachlan becomes
the Dune,
the dude on the Dune. He becomes the Muad'Dib, the Quaisarix Haderach, basically the chosen one. Like it's just such a weird movie where like the movie ends with a girl just being like, little girl's like, "You're the Quaisarix Haderach," and that's like the last line. Like nobody knows I think it's the last line. It's just nobody knows what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah,
this is just gibberish. You could have been like, "He's the flobbity floob."
The flobbity floob.
That's basically is what you call anything in whatever. It also has one of my favorite lines though. Patrick Stewart plays like one of the like generals or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
And he's like challenging like Kyle MacLachlan to like practice sword fighting where they have this armor that's like looks like Lego men. and they're like they're lot blocks.
Yes.
And Kyle MacLachlan's like, I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
And Patrick Stewart goes, mood. I'm trying to think.
Oh, moods are for something in love making.
Moods are not a thing. Moods are for love. Moods are for cattle and love play.
Yeah. I was like,
or love playing cattle, whatever.
Cattle?
So
I was like, moos?
So I get.
Or moods.
Moods.
I know, but.
But what does moos have to do with love play?
I understand being in the mood for like love making, but what the fuck are you talking about cows for?
Apparently there's also cows on Dune or in Arrakis or whatever.
Oh, I see. What was very weird is hearing everybody's internal monologues out loud.
Yeah, that's a big.
I don't know if that's in the new one. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh, that's fucking strange. Because at first I was like, oh, are they telepathic? And Sean's like, no, that's them thinking. And I was like, oh, I don't think
some of them are telepathic. Some of like those bald nun-looking ladies.
Oh, well, yeah. She was like a witch or something.
Yeah, or like whatever, like just.
And then she's like yelling at the queen, being like, why did you choose to give him a son? And I was like, she chose to do a what now? Like, you don't choose.
I want a son.
I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know what these people are.
You missed it though when they milked you missed it though when they milked a cat.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's also strange because, and I haven't seen this new movie yet. I do want to see it.
Everybody was just like, cocaine. And that's how that movie got made.
Cocaine.
Cocaine,
yeah.
Cocaine was definitely involved in the making of this movie.
Well, I watched the version, the documentary about the Jodorowsky, like he's like a whatever a Mexican director, and in the 70s he was supposed to make Dune. But it was supposed to be like this 400-page script, and like Orson Welles was going to be in it, and he told Orson Welles he would give him all of his desserts at any time. And
can Orson Welles not get his own desserts?
No, because Orson Welles is like, I love to eat, and he's like, I give you this all at any time you want. So Orson Welles just turn around and be like, eat, you know. That's what he's saying. He's like, that's what he's saying. He's like, I give you this. I give you food. It's kind of like Pavarotti, who had towards the end of his life, he had a traveling toilet.
Why?
Because he would eat and then he'd have to blow one out.
Were there not toilets?
What do you mean? It's Pavarotti. You don't want to be sitting next to. I mean, Pavarotti doesn't want to be sitting next to the plebes.
Oh wait, it worked.
What?
It worked.
Yeah, what is it? Was a show?
Well, I don't know. Do you take it? Do you like go to your hotel room and go, this is my fancy toilet, uninstall the shit toilet and install the fancy one?
No, I think it was something where it's like you walked outside, like you didn't have to.
So it's a traveling porta potty.
Yeah. But it was a probably really nice one.
Fancy porta potty.
Yeah. It
was spray painted gold.
Pavarotti. I remember.
No teenagers ever been in that one.
No, they did not. They did not do like they did in my high school. Rip off the doors of the stalls so they can shame the kids that take shits.
God,
I've always been terrified to use. It's always that the fear, because like you would go to like other schools and you would see the doors on the stalls, and I would be like, "Wow, this is a good school."
Yeah,
because they had doors on their stalls in the boys' room. Whereas opposed to JFK, where they tore them off.
Yeah.
Where they put the doors, I don't know, but they weren't there.
Oh
man. I don't know why JFK high school kids were so against people taking shits.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with you guys.
Was there some sort of was there some sort of like secret non-shitting society?
I don't know.
Kids with incredible bowel controls.
I don't know.
I certainly wasn't one of them.
Were there kids who lived close enough to the school to like walk home and take a shit?
I don't know. Apparently they must have just all went to some kid to the house next to the school. Just were like, hey, can I use your toilet in secret? Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Or maybe they like hid the door somewhere when they needed to take a shit. They would just put it back on.
All the bullies got together and just they formed a shield.
Yeah.
In front of the guy that
Shit shield.
Shit shields. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, but anyways, Dune. What's funny is and I have to see this movie, but like Dave Bautista's like this serious actor now.
Yes.
Which good for him. Because he doesn't have to work at wrestling,
Yeah.
He doesn't have to take bumps. He could just show up and like jerk off and go and then do some WWE stuff and whatever. It doesn't matter. He'll get paid tons of money. Mm-hmm. But now he can act and like be a superstar. And the character he plays is I'm forgetting his name, but he plays one of Baron Harkonnen, the main villain.
Like some of his beef.
He plays like he plays one of his nephews. So like there's Sting and then there's another guy. Mm-hmm. And Sting's not in this new movie. Like the character or Fayed or whatever.
Right, the character he plays.
The character he plays is not in this new movie. They're saving him for like the sequel, which apparently Tune, which we talked about. Yes,
that's right, Tune. Mm-hmm.
But Dave Bautista plays this other guy who in the David Lynch version, he shows up. He has barely any, actually I don't think he has any lines. Barely any lines. And one of his scenes, he has a mechanical juice box where he has like a little like critter in it and he squishes it and then he drinks the juice from the critter.
Okay.
Like that's one of his gimmicks.
Does he have a lot of them?
No, just the one thing. That's just one thing he shows. That's like the first thing he does when he shows up. He's like, "Hey, juice box, squish, drink, throw."
Oh, so it's like a murderous high C.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a high M for murder. Mm-hmm. So he does that, and then he gets put in charge when the Harkonnens take over Dune. Mm-hmm. At one point, he gets put in charge. It's a very Eric Trump kind of thing, because Harkonnen is very much like a Trump. I'm just calling it like I see it, and it's very much like he's like, I'm gonna put Jared Kushner in charge of Dune, and he ruins Dune. And to the point where the navigate, the people that Harkonnen reports to show up and they cut off his nephew's head. So I'm just trying to imagine like what Dave Bautista's doing in this movie, in this role. Is he drinking like a critter juice box, or
it's all he does.
Yeah, it's just like he
critter juice box.
Doesn't have any lines. He's just there.
Isn't he supposed to like beat people? Isn't that his deal? I don't know.
Well, also too, like this Jason Momoa character, like the one in the David Lynch movie, the Duncan, Idaho.
I'm sorry, Duncan, Idaho.
Duncan, Idaho.
That is Jason Momoa's name.
Also starring Eric Montana, but Duncan, Idaho is he has a minute of screen time in this David Lynch one. Like he's just like a guy that like Kyle MacLachlan knows, and he's like, "Yo, what up?" And he's like, "Sweet," and that's it. And I'm like, well, "What the hell's he gonna do in this movie?" I'm like, "I don't know." Apparently, I mean, maybe it's something where it's like there's only Dune is such a crazy book, like you have to like parse out all this different stuff and like pick the characters you want to focus on because obviously they're trying to build like a whole thing, and obviously they're going into sequels, which was never the case with the David Lynch version. But
yes,
I want to see it.
We do. We have to see that. Well, I want to see Last Night in Soho.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And obviously the Eternals come out, so we've got movies that we got to go see.
We got movies, and that's where we're going to end it. So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with our book for this week.
Hi, everybody. My name's Hub, and I host a show called Tighten Up the Defense, a podcast that would likely benefit from a tagline. Every week, we read either a Defenders comic book from the 70s or a New Teen Titans comic from the 80s. I give a synopsis of that comic that I have handcrafted to amuse and inform, And then my good for many things brother Corey comes over and we talk about what we found interesting about the comic we just read. It's a lot of fun and we hope you'll join us for it. Anything you'd like to add, Corey?
I like cocaine from an animal's butthole. It is. So good. It is. Paradise.
Well, Corey, I don't really think that's appropriate. We're trying to do a promotion for our podcast here.
Shut up.
Okay, fair enough. Any final thoughts?
Of course.
Well, let's hear them.
I have eaten all the beaver butt. You have eaten none. And beaver's butt is pretty good.
There you have it. Tighten up the defense. That's Titan. You can find it wherever podcasts are found. It's probably worth mentioning. I'm the one who does the editing. Catch the wave of the future and hang 10 on it with us. Cowabunga.
All right, we're back here in our worst collection ever with our book for this week. It is, I'll have to make sure I get this right. I think it's Eternal. I could be wrong because I just looked it up today and I don't have my information from it. I don't feel like looking it up right now, but Eternals Volume 6, Number 1, from March 2021. This year. And the story about this book is that I was at one of my recent trip to what's that place? Entertainment. And I saw I've been looking for an Eternals comic.
Yes.
That I wanted to do. And I did buy one in Buffalo.
Yeah, it was like a new one.
Well, so this is a new one too.
No, but I mean like came out like a week before.
I think it's from the same series as this.
Yeah.
But like it came out like that week and it just wasn't very I remember reading it and not being very interested in it. So I decided to try out another one. But the thing is that, and I don't know why Entertainment does, I don't know why Second Charles does this either, is they'll sell comics for like, in their cheap bin for like $2 or $3. And I'm like, why not just sell them for a fucking $1?
Well.
Or 50 cents. Like, that's how you're going to move these things.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, Eternals movie's coming out. People are going to want to see the thing. Yeah.
I bought this for like $4.
Yeah.
Or whatever it says on there. I guess it's $5. Jesus Christ. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get something, and this one looked a bit brighter.
Yes.
So it was easier for me to make a decision. But on the cover here, it's just basically Eternals number 1, and it's just it's an alternate variant. So there's like 36 variants.
Yeah.
Like I'm not kidding.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing in the back.
There's a lot of variants.
Yeah.
Of this issue. And in this particular one, I believe, is the Alex Ross version, or it's just the Ross variant. I'm going to assume it's Alex Ross because it looks like Alex Ross. And it's just Icarus shooting some rocks with his laser eyes. And that's really all to say about the cover. And you'll never believe this.
No, I won't.
I took notes.
I don't believe this.
You see?
I'm very proud of you. I didn't take any notes,
because
I feel like this goes.
I feel like maybe I could, if I wrote down something in my notes, I might be like, "Hey, in my notes I wrote this."
Oh, interesting.
Instead of trying to like fumble through this podcast like I've been doing for the past 7 years.
It's really funny. And again,
actually, I think I'm right. 7 years.
Yeah. One of these days, I should actually take a picture right now.
Well, I think you've taken a picture before of me doing this.
Okay. I'm taking a picture of that. So you can tell that I'm not sitting next to you. I never see that. I cannot.
Well, do you want to hold the comics?
No,
I got notes.
No, I don't want to hold the comic.
How are you going to know what's good? How am I going to do both?
I never have the comic with me. And I usually am like, and then this thing happened.
But I can give it to you.
But I don't want it because I don't need it.
Okay, fine.
And then I'll be like, wait, is this where the thing happens? Because I totally forgot something else. But usually I'm just doing this off the top of my head.
You're special.
I'm something.
So we start off with this story. Now this is being narrated.
Yes.
By the Machine.
Who is also an Eternal.
No, the Machine is like
a Celestial?
No. It's like a subsystem.
God damn it.
Computer thing that like
But he gets his head smashed.
No, that's not him. That's Zuras.
The fuck, man.
Did you not read this?
I did read this, but I thought they were the same person.
No, they're not. I actually did a bit of research too. I did too.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you did some research because I thought they were the same person. And I also thought that the machine. No. Is it Zuras that he talks to? It must be.
Well, he goes to talk to Zuras after.
Yeah, but he like calls him on his headphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it's being this whole issue.
That's why I thought it was the same guy.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, but this whole
continue.
issue is being narrated by the machine, which is like this infrastructure.
It's what is and it's been a long time since I've seen the Matrix. What is the outside of the Matrix called?
In the movie The Matrix?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
totally forgot.
I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you, but that's
If that was a trivia question, I would get it wrong.
yeah, because I don't know. But he literally like basically wakes up from the Matrix.
Okay, so he wakes up from one of those like goo baths.
Yeah,
or
he
whatever.
does. Look at him. He's even got wires attached to his fucking back.
Yeah.
Like this is the goddamn Matrix.
Yeah, this is Icarus. He wakes up from this. It's being narrated, so it's kind of like telling you about like, telling you, kind of talking about what's going on.
And apparently whenever these Eternals die, quote, they can die, but they're just regenerated.
Right.
And whenever they're regenerated, they kind of look different. But
Sometimes.
the others sometimes, but the other Eternals can still recognize them because I guess Sprite looks different
Yeah.
than she did before, and Sprite is like this eternal child.
Yeah. Sprite looks like she does in the movie.
Okay.
The girl that plays her in the movie looks like the representation here.
Okay.
So that's probably where they're like headed with that.
Yes.
Icarus looks the same as he always does. He's got blonde hair.
Yeah, Icarus also.
In the comics, he does.
There's a
Doesn't look
couple
like Richard
pictures
Madden.
of Icarus in these drawings where he looks like he's been stung by bees.
Oh, okay.
Like there's this one picture I think when we'll get there, but when they get to New York, just the way they've drawn his face, he looks like he's been stung by bees.
Oh, maybe the Eternals can't handle bees.
No, so Icarus like gets out of the Matrix and the whatever.
I put down here. See, this is why it's good to take notes because I get to reference and go. Is it a beer spa?
Is it? That's a great question. That's also a good callback. I was calling it the Matrix. Also, could be beer spa.
Beer spa.
Yeah.
Makes it from a beer spa. He's like, man, that was a good bath and some
Dude reeks of hops. It's the
cherry hops.
most disgusting thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to this beer spa and then I'm gonna tell you what I smell like.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an experience. Anyway,
it's gonna be a fragrant day.
it is gonna be a fragrant day. You have no sense of smell. You're not gonna be able to smell.
I'm not
this.
gonna
It's just
appreciate
be me.
anything. I'm just gonna be like, this is a beer.
It's just gonna be me being like all upset or delighted. We don't know.
So he wakes up from this bed. So okay, so let me just kind of set the deal here. So
Everybody died
all the Eternals died at one point
because of something Sprite did.
No,
Yes.
not entirely. No.
Oh.
What happened was there was a whole issue with the Eternals and the Celestial. So basically, it's kind of explained in the movie that the Celestials created the Eternals and put them on Earth in order to counteract the Deviants, which they also created.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So there is
Because
actually
they're like, because basically they're big space scientists fucking with planets.
one of my favorite parts of this entire book is the interior title page, where that's all black, and then you have all those little
Oh yeah,
things. But did you notice that it just says, there it is, under the Eternals, 100 years ago, right? It says like 100 years ago. Is this the one? Here, let me see.
Oh, I see this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, but go ahead.
Yes, it says a long, long time ago, alien space gods came to Earth. They made 100 Eternals. They made 100 Deviants. They left. Shrug emoji. Like the shrug guy.
I missed. Actually, I do
guy
miss that.
doing the shrug.
I missed seeing that. That's
That's
really
my
funny.
favorite fucking part of this book.
But you know what? That's basically the best way to describe it.
But I'm also like, okay, but wait a second. So like, y'all came down and you were like, here's some shitty deviants, which apparently we are told act like puppies.
Right.
Sometimes. Most of the time.
No, they're like gremlins.
No, he says sometimes they are.
Sometimes they're like puppies, but sometimes they're like gremlins.
Yes, sometimes. But most of the time they're like big dumb puppies. And then they were like, well, I guess we need to like instead of just wiping out these deviants that we've created, we're just gonna like create these people who have to hang out here and fight them for eternity. And then they pieced out.
Yeah, the Celestials are a bunch of bullshit.
It's so dumb. This is whenever we start getting into the space shit, I'm just like, guys.
Well, let me explain. So, prior to this series, the Eternals found out what their real purpose was, and their real purpose was
nothing, to
cultivate humans who had this certain genetic structure that would allow the Celestials to fight off their main enemies.
Right, but they've kind of destroyed the Celestial planet, right? The homeworld?
I don't know what you mean by that.
The place they go.
No, that's one of their hubs.
But it's been destroyed.
Yeah, but that's not the Celestials thing. That's for the Eternals.
I give up.
Well, I'm talking about something. I'm trying to like explain it. And we'll get there.
I understand. This space, this sort of.
It's kind of like
spacey shit.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, okay.
It's kind of like the New God shit.
Yeah. It's all Kirby.
It's all Kirby stuff, but basically, okay. So the Eternals found out that their purpose on Earth was basically to farm humans instead of protecting them.
Oh, it's Motel Hell.
Yes. Yeah, actually, exactly. The Eternals figured out that they were in Motel Hell.
And they were like, we have to plant all of these humans and cut their vocal cords.
And then we'll dry them for meat.
And then we'll feed them through snorkels.
Yes. And
which is totally what they do in that movie.
And so they went mad. The Eternals went mad, and A, either started fighting each other, or B, committed suicide and started falling out of the sky. Which is why when they meet up with Iron Man later in this book, Iron Man's like, the last time he saw them, there were just piles of Eternals everywhere.
Oh, okay. Because he also says, like, there is a comment made to Sprite at one point in this book where it's like, well, you just got really tired of being an eternal child.
Uh-huh.
And Sprite's like, well, I don't remember that, but I guess I was real bored. And so it was kind of like Sprite's fault that a bunch of shit happened.
Well, there was something going on. Yeah, there's something. I don't know if it was the same thing as to why the Eternals went mad, but I think there was something that I must have not read.
Being an eternal child would drive me mad.
Yeah, okay. So
that's a fucking nightmare right there.
So like, this sucks. I can't grow bigger. My body is tiny.
It'd be like being in Twilight, just being like, I'm alive for 1 billion years, but I still gotta go to high school.
Ew.
Like, fucking shoot me. I don't even know why you'd bother enrolling in high school. I'd be like, you know what? I'm just truant, and somebody's gonna have to deal with it. And if anybody yells at me, I'm just gonna tell them I'm homeschooled.
Yep.
I don't understand why these people keep going back to school.
So I also wrote down, because this, for whatever reason, I've been watching I've been watching a lot of like new wave videos, and I said in my notes, this is great. This is a new era for us.
It is.
I said, I just explained what I wrote. It was just what I just explained. Because I hadn't finished explaining that the Celestials were harvesting humans for the certain DNA so they can fight these evil Celestials known as the Horde, which are just a bunch of big bugs. So basically, they're just harvesting humans so they can be raid spray on these bugs that they hate.
Oh shit! What's that stupid movie? This is now Starship Troopers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and but that drove the Celestials mad, and they started fighting each other. And for some reason, I started thinking of the New Order's Truth Faith video, where it's just people in colored pillows slapping each other as part of it.
I mean, what else are you gonna do with your time?
Exactly.
If you're a colored pillow,
if you're a New
just
Order
makes sense.
If you're listening to New Order, I mean, you just want to slap somebody.
It's true. It's true. I think that's actually how they reviewed the first New Order album.
Yeah.
Gonna make you want to slap somebody.
It slaps, literally. So anyway, so Icarus regenerates. He was the last to die, so he's the last to regenerate. He's the last to regenerate.
The last to come out of his Matrix pod.
Has to come out of his Matrix pod.
He doesn't go hang out with Joey Pants and eat steak.
Yeah, and this is where we get this tree. And I just want to point out some of my favorites of this tree. Because there's a bunch of different Eternals mentioned here. There's the Olympia Eternals, which is what Icarus is a part of, as well as, I believe, Sersi, who a lot of people know, and Zuras, and I'm assuming Kingo, because that's Kumail. And who else? Fastos, who we talked to in this. So they're a part of this.
Yes.
And then there's other places. There's this the exclusion, which is something they reference, which I don't quite understand. And then there's also a lot of these places that sound like I said they sound like ABA basketball teams, like the Celestian Priests.
Yeah, I could see that.
The Titanos Hermits.
Oh Jesus.
The Lemurian Mission. The Geon Sisters.
The Lemurian Mission sounds like some weird ass goth band.
It doesn't say that. Sounds
from
like,
the 80s.
It sounds like a goth emo band.
Yeah, they came out in like 1984, and
they only had one album.
Yeah, just one thing. They got like one real good song. Of course, it had a video.
And Jen heard it.
I did. I
She
used to
loved it.
dance to it. It's just good.
But there's also this division of the Eternals known as the Tricks. And here's who we have. We have Jack of Knives.
No.
The Knight Ungallant.
No.
The Queen of Maces.
This is the Royal Flush Gang.
And Ivani Golden Touch, which actually sounds like a drag name.
That's a drag name. I'm Ivani Golden Touch.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would pop for that.
Well, please welcome to the stage, Ivani Golden Touch. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's who there. So anyways, we get all that. So we get this little tree. And it's actually a nice, since this is issue number 1 and
it's helpful.
This came out this year and we all knew that the Eternals movie was coming. You know, y'all.
You know what I appreciate about
this book came out in January, so you get to pick this up.
Yes. You know what I appreciated about this issue number 1, which I hated about the Batman Catwoman issue, is that I understand what's happening in this book.
That's good.
You're not asking me to like fill in 45 issues of another comic book to understand.
Right.
So I appreciate that. Thanks. Good job, Eternals.
Good job, Eternals.
Yeah.
So Icarus goes to talk to Zuras, who's like the prime leader of the Eternals, or the Prime Eternal, he's known as.
Yeah.
I've read about. The only reason I know who Zuras is because he was in the Book of the Dead from the 1980s of the Marvel books that I always talk about. He was the last entry in it because he died.
Yeah. And
he died, and apparently he died here. He dies in this book too.
He sure does.
But he's here and he's talking to Icarus about.
He's sitting there like he's drawn like when you first see him sitting there like a real cool dude, you know.
Yeah, he's kind of having a nice hip sit.
Where you got that like Superman spread, but you got one leg up.
Yeah.
And you're like slouched.
Like I'm sitting right now.
Yeah. And you're like slouched and you're just like, yeah. That's him. He's giving the cool dude. And he's like kind of filling him in on like what's going on. He's like, where is everybody? And he's like, well,
it's like, well, you died, and then now you're the last to come back, and everybody else is out doing
Is this
things.
where he finds Sprite?
Yeah, he goes to release Sprite.
So Icarus does go to, I think, see Sprite, but it turns out that Zuras has already let Sprite grow free, which apparently is a problem.
Okay. And Sprite is known for creating illusions. So she is very
also, everybody
annoying.
In this book is at least facially kind of androgynous looking.
Yeah, I definitely could see that.
I mean, especially Sprite because she's a child.
He looks like Steve Buscemi here in this.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of like fucking.
I can see that. That's a bee.
I'm telling you, he's got like bumpy bee face. Oh shit! Who's that guy with the bumpy face? There's like an actor who used to play like a villain like in the 80s, and his face, he was very
Robert Zadar.
Maybe he was a very bumpy man.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Robert Davey.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Those are two completely different people.
I don't. And
I'm just shooting off Roberts.
It's all Roberts. It's not Robert Pattinson.
Okay, good.
Even though I will say that what's Icarus' hair in that it's questionable there at the bottom.
Well, here
At the bottom.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all over the place here.
It's a comb over.
Yeah, it is kind of a comb over.
Yeah, it's
very wispy.
yeah, it's I mean, I assume when you come back with all your hair. I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know, he's zapping at Sprite and whatever.
And Sprite's like just creating these illusions that look like Green Lantern constructs.
Yeah.
And he follows she escapes and she goes through a portal.
Yeah.
Which now this is where I'm confused because they go to New York City
And just end up on top of a cab.
right, but the machine here, which is outlined on this page here, tells you where all these different hubs are.
But there's not one in New York.
There's not one in New York. The closest one to it would be Titanos, where they do go,
Right.
but that's in
It's a echo dimension.
right, and it's also looks like it's in Alaska.
It's close to Alaska, yeah. I don't know.
Looks like in the Yukon territory.
there-
Sarah Palin can see Titanos from her house.
She sure can. You're right. I don't understand because all of a sudden they're in New York.
Yeah, because
Like literally in the middle of Times Square.
Yeah, they come out in the middle of Times Square, and Sprite's like, "Yay!"
Literally
look at-
standing on a cab.
I'm standing on a car. I'm having a
And-
great time.
And Icarus is like,
Where's his bumpy bee face here?
I think it's when he meets Iron Man. It's right.
this?
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah,
And he's
definitely,
like, get down. You know, he's like, oh, but look at all these like humans. She's like, get down, come on. And Iron Man shows up. He's like, do I need to like step in here? And
yeah, Iron Man. This is actually Iron Man's role here. Is he's like
it's just to appear.
he's flying around, and he's like, "Yo, that looks weird. What's going on here?" And he's like, "Oh, hi, Icarus. Mm-hmm. Looks like you're alive." And he's like, "Yeah."
This is like the cop who's like, hey, kids, don't loiter. And they disappear.
Stay away from drugs. Goodbye.
Right. And then the cop just disappears and like does the rest of his job.
Well, it was Iron Man that makes a point to be like, "Yo, I heard Sersi's alive. Tell her to
Yeah.
call me."
Yeah, he's
Goodbay.
like he wants to bang. And
Yeah,
I'm
he's like,
all
"Yo,
right.
let me get some of that Eternals lady action."
I mean, can Eternals bang people?
Oh yeah, they're like human. I mean, I'm certain that maybe they'll be banging in this movie. I don't know. What's a Marvel movie? Nobody's banging. Nobody has sex in those movies.
There's no sex in the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
No.
but I think they're pretty functional. Yeah, I mean, they're basically.
Those dicks work, is what you're telling me.
I'm pretty certain them parts work.
Them parts work.
Them parts.
Yeah, so and then then they kind of get this like weird doubled over thing
Well,
because I guess that's how they know there's a deviant nearby.
yeah, they get like
Hunger pains.
they get like stomach pains or something. Like they just like they did
Or
like
they-
did they eat some?
I was gonna say they get in the rumbles. Like what's going on
they get
here?
the BGs, the bubble guts.
Exactly.
Did they,
Because they just like both bend over and Iron Man's
did
like,
they eat at Arby's?
yeah. And Iron Man's like, you guys okay? And they're like, yeah. And Iron Man's like, okay, bye. And so he leaves.
Did they use a Pepto Bismol? I got some in my suit.
Yeah. And so he leaves and they go down into the sewer. And then Sprite, who I don't know how much she's aware of and how much she's not, because she's like, oh man, was that man literally made of iron?
Yeah, because Icarus has to explain to her
What Iron Man is.
what Iron Man is and why it's something that humans do when they go blank man.
Yeah. He's like, oh, there is a Spider-Man. He's like, they give them names that aren't really true. He's like, he's not really made of iron. He's got a suit that's metal. And there is a Spider-Man. He's like, but I think there's also a man spider.
Right. Which is true.
Is this the part where the machine, I think it's a couple panels before, the machine was like, I've known Icarus for centuries and I still don't know if he's stupid or dry. Like, like
I like sarcastic machine.
yeah, he's just like, I don't know.
He's kind of spicy, like Alfred in the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, you silly."
He's just so fucking
boner.
over Bruce's bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it all.
I
You know,
mean,
he just keeps
who-
regenerating these guys. He's like, "All right, fine."
In fairness, who isn't over Bruce's bullshit?
Yeah, no, right. But yeah, I did enjoy that little exchange there,
Yeah.
and I do enjoy what's her face saying, Sprite saying, humans are so over literal,
Yes.
and she's right.
Yeah.
So they head into the sewer to fight this deviant, and it looks like Cthulhu. It looks like Cthulhu with like a beer gut.
Yeah.
Which is
And this is where they bring up the part where it's like most of the time they're like puppies, but and he's like, well, maybe that's not really true. He's more like a Mogwai, where sometimes you get like the cute ones, but also sometimes you get like a shitty gremlin one.
Yeah, and they kind of like imply that Icarus has seen gremlins.
The movie?
Yes, like the way that he's describing it, or maybe he's just kind of, this is the machine talking to us. I think
it's the machine talking to us
and just being like, yeah, so like you guys all know what Gremlins is. And he's like, I've seen Gremlins on the machine. I watch all the movies. I know literally every movie.
I mean, I'm assuming the machine.
I know Death Spa. I know Dune. I've seen both Dunes.
You've seen Dune and Toon.
Dune. I've even seen Dune. It's not even out yet. Join us hot.
He's gonna tell us all about.
As soon as somebody mentions a movie, as soon as somebody completes a screenplay, I can visualize it in my head, and then I've seen the movie.
How can we get the machine to be on our trivia team?
Oh yeah,
so we can take down those other people.
Right or wrong, we're coming for you with the machine. Can we change our name to the machine? Because we were Skeleton League.
We were Skeleton League, but the machine would be pretty funny.
The machine. What's wrong with these people? Are they German?
Assholes.
The machine.
Yeah, that's kind of an asshole name.
It's kind of a dipshit
it's
name.
It's really a fucking dick name.
It's like, oh man, those guys seem like they're pretty stupid.
We are the machine.
So they fight. Yeah, but I wrote down that this encounter that they have is so like they go into the sewers and they find this Cthulhu
who's like chomping on a brain.
No, he's like,
yeah,
he's not chomping.
He's got a guy, and then he says that he's trying to eat their brains.
Okay, well he's not. But he's not. I don't see him biting it.
Yeah, but he says they say later that he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy looks fine though. But it's like it kind of reminds me of like when you play the Lego games. And like you have to like it's like you'll get like a call from somebody be like, hey, you should go over here and fight these enemies, and then you go over there and you fight. It's like they're bugging some like civilians, and then you fight them, and then the civilians go, wow, thank you, I can't believe that happened, or whatever. That's literally what happens here.
Yes, except I believe they do mention that he was gnawing on this dude's skull.
Oh, well, he should be dead.
I mean,
even though it just kind of looks like he gets saved pretty easily.
I guess. I don't know. So they fight this thing.
He's got a camera. I don't know how he managed to get down there. Was he like, because the guy has a camera? You see this guy? You notice he has a camera?
Maybe he snatched him out of like, I don't know. Maybe he fell down one of those fucking grates. He wasn't paying attention. One of those fucking trap doors was open.
That building. Oh, yeah. What a great.
You got to be careful when you're walking to New York, man.
In New York, they don't care. If you fall out of grate, you're deviant meat.
Maybe yanked him off a subway platform. I don't know.
Hey, that guy falls down down the deviant's grate. Yeah, he's no goods to us now.
But seriously, you got to be careful when you're in New York. Sometimes those trap doors where they open them up and they can
Yeah, it's not all what's her face and 7-Year Itch, what's her face with the blowing skirt.
Marilyn Monroe. It's not going to be like that. Sometimes you fall to your death.
Sometimes you get eaten by a deviant.
Sometimes you get shoved in front of a subway train. I don't make the rules.
Wait. Okay. It's really morbid for the New Yorkers out there.
It happens.
It does happen. No, it does. Sadly, it does happen.
It does happen. Most of the time, it's people willingly jumping in front of the train.
Yeah.
But sometimes people fall. They like try to get their phone and they get hit by a train. Just let your phone go, man.
Yeah. Your phone's done.
Yeah, let it go.
If it falls, don't bother.
Yep.
Get a new one.
Yeah. Get a new one.
You're not going to get it.
It would really upset me to lose my phone that way, but I don't want to get hit by a fucking train.
I'd rather lose my phone than my arm.
Or your head.
Or my head.
Yeah, let it go. Anyway.
That's our public service announcement.
I actually did. Oh, it was so upsetting. Were you there with me?
When you dropped your phone?
No. I don't think you were there. I was coming back from rehearsal at Improv Boston, So I was catching the red line at Central to go into Park Street to catch the green line to go back out to Alston, right? We were living there.
Uh-huh.
So, and it was late because we had like late rehearsal or something. Or maybe we had just had a show. Because like that remember I used to try to take that bus, but it only ran like once an hour. So I was actually taking the T. So I'm waiting on the platform for the fucking train. And there's a guy, because you can see across to the other side of the Central Street platform, right?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about. And there's a guy who came down that way across the street, and he's sitting there and he's looking. He actually jumped off the platform, ran across the tracks, and climbed up onto the other side of the platform because that's the side he needed to be on. And everybody was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And they're yelling at him, trying to tell him to stop. And he did it anyway. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. And people were
You can
like,
touch that third rail.
yeah,
Fucking
people were yelling at him, telling him to not fucking do that. He was going to kill himself. He did it anyway. He didn't die. He got fucking lucky, but you could jump on that fucking third rail. Like, he could have died. And everyone's like, don't do it. He did it anyway.
Yeah, he did it anyway.
So anyway.
That's Boston for you.
That sure is.
Lenny Clark ain't going to tell... You don't hear Lenny Clark telling you that, so I guess you could do it.
Yeah.
So they defeat this deviant. Mm-hmm. And I kind of... Afterward, they ship off the person they saved to the police, and they just they mention that they just left the deviant corpse there for the police to deal with.
Yeah,
which I think is funny.
Is this also the part where they talk about the brain?
Maybe. Yeah. I just know there's something in there about the. I missed
would the police really find it though? It's in the sewer.
Well, they have sewer police, don't they?
Why would they have sewer police?
Because crimes happen in the sewer.
Yeah, but you don't want to go down there. I mean,
but people have to go down there.
You don't have to go to the sewer. Unless you're like unless there's something wrong.
You got to find them turtles.
I don't believe anybody really goes into the sewer on a regular basis. Unless they're like doing some sort of, testing or maintenance. Mm. But police just aren't like, on my beat, like walking through.
Oh, I think I'll go check the sewers.
That's the stinkiest damn cop you ever did see.
Stinky cops. Man, that's the SVU you don't hear about.
Oh my God, Dick Wolf called me. It's Law and Order Stinky Cops. It's the new
SVU Stinky Violence.
It is the new spinoff, the new fucking Law and Order franchise, and it's just fucking sewer police.
Just Chris Melody in the sewer.
No, keep Chris Melody out of the sewer. It's a whole bunch of new cops.
Oh, okay.
Because
there's some new blood in there.
Every time you have a new Law and Order spinoff, usually you have new cops.
Okay.
But they'll cross over. So like they'll have to find like a rapist like hiding in the sewer. So like Mariska Hargitay can show up and be like, rapists, and then she'll like not come back.
She'd be like, he's down in the sewer. She's like, I ain't going down there.
Yeah, no. Mariska Hargitay is not going down there. Her hair is too pretty and her coats are too expensive.
I got my phone on a lanyard. I can't go down there.
Yeah. She's like, I'm sorry. Do you realize how expensive my jewelry is? I'm not going in your sewer.
So they leave. So we're kind of winded down here. They leave to there's this part real quick where Sprite asks what are television shows, and also she wants to eat a hot dog.
That is because they mentioned the brain part.
The humans have a whole
because
genre of monsters who do. Hang on.
That's what he's talking about.
Machine deviant note. It appeared attempted. Okay.
Yes.
It appered to be attempting
to eat the brain.
So it didn't.
It didn't actually do it, but it's trying.
Didn't get to try there, and that's where she's like, where Icarus is like,
why would Sprite's like, why would you want to eat the brain of a human?
And Icarus is like, yeah, his help is like on TV shows, and she's like, what are TV shows? Right. Also, what is this? And he's like, that's a hot dog. He's like, don't eat that.
Can I eat it? He's like, I don't recommend it, but you'll like Thai food.
Yes. So shout out to Thai food.
Yeah, fair enough. I love Thai food.
So then they go back through this portal, which it's weird because
again, we're in New York.
With the portal, the way that initially it shows up like on the street.
Oh, does it move?
But then they move. It looks like it moves like they're in some alley, and they just go through it there.
Maybe it just moves. Maybe that's why.
But it shouldn't like. It should just be able to go to the certain hubs.
Duh.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's when they were just like, okay.
So we'll just go. They go to Olympus.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like their main base, and
this is the shadow dimension.
No, that's Titanos.
I think this was also in a shadow dimension because it says right there it's tucked in the shadow dimension behind the something or other.
Tucked in the shadow. Northern Greece folded behind the Mount Olympus in an echo dimension.
Echo dimension.
Echo dimension.
Yeah, and it's folded. That's why I was like, oh, folded. So then they're like, oh, hey, other Eternals. Is this where they see the other Eternals?
Yeah, this is where they run into Phastos.
And they're like, hey, man, how's it going, other Eternals? And they're like, it would be better except for, what's his, Zardoz, our buddy here.
Zarda. Yes, I'm dead.
Wearing that crazy-ass outfit. He's kind of dead, and at first I just thought he was, like, collapsing the way they drew him.
Yeah, he's kind of he was sitting in having his splaying sit.
Yeah, I thought he
just kind of fell.
I thought he fell, and I was like, oh, what's wrong with that guy? And they were like, well, it looks like a hand smashed his skull.
So, yeah, 5 fingers pressing on his skull, enormous powers. So the way I visioned it is that he got iron clawed, like the wrestler move. Like Baron Von Raschke showed up and like gave him the iron claw so hard that he killed him.
Yeah, he popped that dude's head like a grape.
You got Von Erich.
Yeah.
So, and I think as though like they're making this big deal about it, and I was just thinking like, he regenerates, so like he's just gonna be back anyways.
That's exactly what they say. They're like, well, we're gonna have to wait for him to regenerate to tell us who killed him.
It's like, well, then, but then that doesn't matter. He's back.
Like, so why do you care?
He's like, somebody's killing Eternals. Like, yeah, but then they're just back anyways.
I was like, you guys don't technically ever die, so is that a problem?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
So this is where Phastos is like, hey, it could have been you guys that did it. And, Sprite's like, yeah, my hand, I don't got Von Erich hands.
Right.
And Icarus is like,
I can't palm a skull.
Yeah. Nah, man, it ain't me. And Icarus is kind of like, well, but your fist. And he's like, nope. And he headbutts Phastos in the face.
Yeah.
And
he's like, you've known me for centuries.
You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. So then they realize that somebody went through one of the transporters and they went through to Titanos. And this is where they follow through. And this is the one that's all messed up.
Yeah, it's all fucked up.
The fallen capital of the Eternals. Superimposed between 3 seconds from now and 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's this place where like you can see the past and also maybe what's going to happen in the future, and time doesn't matter, but it also matters. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because this is where like he sees like this grave of this kid that he, I guess later in the series he becomes friends with.
Sure.
And it's something where, and it gets really complicated, but the portal, the machine is being compromised somehow. And in order for it to operate, it needs to basically take a human for every time it needs to regenerate an Eternal.
Oh.
And so I guess whoever this kid is sacrificed in some way.
Well, I mean,
sure.
In fairness.
Yeah. So they it's a way to control the population.
Well, I mean,
basically
shit sucks here anyway, so
yeah,
you can get murdered and you can
just
regenerate an Eternal.
Well, no, they just regenerate the other Eternal.
Well, I know, but like your energy allows the Eternal to regenerate.
Yes, maybe they'll get my trivia knowledge.
Who knows?
That'd be great if Icarus dies and he gets my trivia knowledge because he sucks my soul out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, one of the Eternals is just swearing constantly and can't stop. I mean,
he just gets out of his bath. He's like, fuck.
You'd be like, oh, you must have gotten the gen.
Cunt.
The gen soul.
Ass.
Fuck. Jizz.
Shit.
Just constantly talking about dicks. It is just real bad.
When's this for you on?
I just really want to see Elliot Stabler and Olivia Benson fuck. And that's all this Eternal cares about now, even though they no longer believe it will happen.
I hope that happens in the movie. I hope that's what happens with...
They really just should have cast me to just be sitting in a corner being like, I just really care about these two AARP eligible detectives fucking.
Yeah, I'm an Eternal. Genios.
Don't mind me, Genios.
Genios. I'm Theranos.
I mean, doesn't every Eternal have like a part of the world they're responsible for? Isn't that like...
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I guess maybe in the movie it kind of implies that.
Like, isn't one of them like hanging out? Like, isn't Salma Hayek's character like on a ranch somewhere?
She's on a ranch and like, what's his face? Kumail's like a Bollywood star.
Yes, but I did read that apparently Kumail has been a Bollywood star since the very beginning of cinema. And so he's like passed himself off as his grandfather, his father, and now himself, which is pretty funny. So yeah,
that's actually really fun. That's pretty clever.
That's really funny.
But if he doesn't age, how does he represent himself aging? Like, does he throw like flour in his hair?
Maybe he stages accidents, so like they all die tragically.
Oh no, I'm trying to cross this subway.
Yeah,
for some reason
I'm running across this thing and I just get.
I'm in Boston and I try to cross the subway. Oh, I didn't make it. Goodbye.
I mean, maybe that's the idea. I have no idea.
Maybe that guy was an Eternal.
Maybe that's why.
Hey, yo, you're an Eternal. Go Sox.
Maybe that's why that guy didn't give two fucks if he was going to step on that third rail. He's like, I'm going to get regenerated. I don't care.
I'll get regenerated. Come back as Tom Brady. Even though he's still alive.
Come back as Tom Brady.
I'm Tom Brady too.
I mean, that's the thing. Wouldn't you think like...
Two Brady.
Wouldn't more Eternals do like what Kumail's character does and just be like... Know. I'm Tom Brady now.
Maybe I should be reading more Eternals. Maybe this is something that happens that I'm not aware of. That sounds kind of neat.
I mean, seriously, you're just like, and now I'm like an actor, and now I'm a fucking Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm a Tom Brady. It's like Halloween for a really long time. But like, my costume is so accurate. I don't know how Eternals work.
Yeah. Well, we're learning.
Oh, yeah.
This is I'll say this much. Well, we're pretty much at the end here because they go to this Titanos and they're like, all right, well, we got to find this person that killed Zuras. And turns out it may be Thanos.
Yes.
Because Thanos is there and Thanos
up.
is like, hey, I'm going to kick your ass.
Our buddy Thanos.
Thanos is like, yo, want to hear about my theory?
Yeah.
I got a pretty good theory. Half of y'all gone.
Yeah.
So... And Thanos is technically kind of an Eternal or something. I think they kind of imply that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how Thanos works.
He was born on Titan, so I guess he's a Titan born, whatever. But that's it for Eternals #1. I can't remember exactly the volume. I'm going to say volume 6. #1 from March 2021. What do you think? Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, I might give the next one a shot. And see how it's going, see what's going to keep happening.
Yeah, I'll have to say this much I read this earlier, like before today, and then I reread it. And
it's not terrible.
It's not terrible because actually, for something that is kind of intimidating because it's a Kirby prop.
And there's so much lore.
And there's so much lore and there's so many names and
there's so many characters.
Yeah. I managed to follow it pretty closely and then just kind of talking it out here. I kind of felt that it was a good way to understand these characters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'll keep reading it, but
yeah, but I mean, like, if somebody was like, "Hey, here's the trade," I'd probably read it.
Yeah, I would say if the trade was free or something. And
somebody gave it to me or found it for real cheap.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, so it's it's not bad. And I mean, and maybe it kind of gives me a bit more of a confidence going into the movie.
Yeah.
So not that they probably would need it because they're going to do their best to explain it.
Well, I mean, they have to. I mean, they have to realize that most people, even people who enjoy comic books, are going to be starting from zero with the Eternals.
Yeah.
Because it's such a obscure property.
Relatively, yes. Yeah, it's kind of like depending on if this actually takes off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how a lot of people viewed Iron Man.
Yes.
When Iron Man came out, because everybody was like...
but most comic book fans knew who Iron Man was.
Right, but I'm saying, but like people outside of...
Yeah, but I would say...
They view Iron Man, he was a bigger name, obviously he's a bigger character within the Marvel mythos at the time, but he wasn't like Spider-Man or Wolverine.
Right.
Like he wasn't that ubiquitous.
Of course, but I think it is possible to read a shit ton of Marvel and not really encounter the Eternals.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
You know what I mean? Like you're always gonna some X-Men is gonna cross over here. Spider-Man's gonna show up. It's kind of Iron Man's gonna show up over here. Thor's gonna show up. But when you start getting into the Eternals, you're like, this is some dense shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's like basically like New Gods.
And New Gods are the same way.
Yeah, New Gods. I mean, it's actually. This is much more fun than New Gods, at least
so far.
So far, I mean, granted, I could be reading the rest of this and being like, "This is a fucking dense slog."
Yeah, it's whenever we start getting into these like celestial, spacey things that I kind of check out.
Yeah, we're gonna learn more about
isn't bad.
I'm looking forward to learning more about these Celestials because I find them to be very interesting.
Yeah,
just big blocky space dudes.
Shitty.
And it's shitty. It's just
shitty.
a bunch of scientist jerks.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, you didn't have to create Eternals to kill these deviants. You could have just not had deviants. You created them. You didn't have to.
You're like, oh no, we created deviants. Oh, I guess we're going to defeat them. We did it again, guys. We suck.
I feel like my mom is the only one who ever told her children, I brought you into this world and I can take you out.
Yeah.
Like the Celestials were not telling the deviants that, and perhaps they should have.
They should have been listening to Italian mothers.
Yeah, pretty much.
The deviants need that kind of guidance, or not deviants, the Celestials.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Angry Hero Shawn.
And I'm at Jen Stansfield on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the show on Facebook, Worst Collection Ever, and email the show, worstcollectionever@gmail.com.
And please rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Verbal. I think we're on Verbal.
Verbal.
VURBL.
Yeah.
Verbal.
Yeah. Gross. It just sounds real gross.
Verbal.
Verbal.
Yeah, but I think we're on there. So if you check us out there, you can listen to us. Mm-hmm. And also check out my YouTube, Angry Hero 79 on YouTube. I am opening up action figures and having fun while doing so. You guys can check that out. I had a video that I made, but I'm not probably not gonna post it because it kind of looks like shit. But it's also when I put the rug over the lamp. And I burned a hole through a rug.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't. It wasn't a rug; it was a blanket.
Blanket.
And I'm really glad you didn't burn the house down, because I wasn't here when that happened.
Man, this is what happens. You leave me alone, and I'm burning blankets.
I had to buy you another blanket.
I'm like the husband that like in those commercials where the husband's really stupid. Like there's that one commercial where it's like everybody's enjoying like flavored yogurt, and then the father's like, "Hey, I want some flavored yogurt or popcorn." It's like it's popcorn or something.
No, it was she's on the phone talking to her friend about like the key lime pie yogurt. He's like, "We got key lime pie," and he's like digging through the fridge.
He's like, "Oh, I've had these delicious yogurts, and they got this kind thing and this kind of thing." He's like, "Hey, where's the pie?"
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a stupid husband.
Yeah,
that's me. That's me looking for key lime pie and burning blankets.
No, you don't dig through the refrigerator. You open it and go, "I cannot see it. It does not exist."
Yeah, pretty much.
And I go, "Did you move things?" And you go, "No." And then you move it. I'm like, "See, I told you it was right there."
Oh, Eureka exists. Look at the bountiful pleasures of food. Mm-hmm. Anyways, thanks for listening. Oh, and there's something else. Actually, there wasn't anything else. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
There's nothing else.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Anyways, thanks for listening, folks, and we'll talk again next time.
Bye.